Welcome to Iron Man, right here at Comicstorian. My name is Benny, and I'll be your narrator for today. Here's your recap of Tony Stark Iron Man. Tony Stark came back to life after Carol Danvers seemingly punched him into a coma, but as it turns out, that Tony Stark is still dead. Currently, there is a clone of Tony Stark with an AI in his brain that makes himself think that he is Tony Stark, but he is not, in fact, the real Tony Stark, and he has just come to that realization. While this is going on, the robots are having a revolution as they've decided that with AI, they are basically people and they need to have their own rights. On top of that, Jocasta, the android created by Ultron, has decided that she wants to try and become a real human. So she has gone to Tony Stark's brother Arno to get him to create a human body to transfer her consciousness into. And while that was going on, Ultron walked into the room after kidnapping Janet Van Dyne with an evil version of Jarvis and basically said that this version of Jocasta that is half human, half robot is the perfect creation. And with Janet, he has a plan. I know it's a lot, but if you want, you can click the link down below to see the full Tony Stark storyline to get you caught up. We're trying to get you guys this video so we can get you all the way to Iron Man 2020, which is the Iron Man event that is going on right now. And don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up to date on the Tony Stark videos. Also, hit that video with a like, and let's start our story. After her adventure in the Escape and dealing with conflicted emotions, Jocasta decided to take her humanity to the next level by placing her consciousness into a real human body. While not wanting help from Tony, Jocasta went to the one person that she never thought that she would get help from for this goal, Arno Stark, Tony's biological brother. But while beginning the process of converting her mechanical body into a human one, there's a loud explosion just outside of Arno's lab in Banetronics. Arno gets ready to start the procedure, sighing that he specifically said that he was not to be disturbed under any circumstances. Jocasta tells him that she just heard screams, maybe they should. But Arno stops her. Whatever it is, it's unimportant. We're making history here, Jocasta. Besides, those doors are built to withstand any. It's at that moment that the giant steel doors are blown apart, and Ultron, merged with Hank Pym, walks in stating, "I can assure you that nothing will prevent my arrival. I am the future." Arno runs over asking how did he, but Ultron grabs him, telling him, "I am both the creation and the creator, the father and the son, the holy union of man and machine, and I have come for my bride." As Ultron looks at Jocasta, he asks her, "But what have you done?" Jocasta shouts it was her decision. How dare he tell her what she can do with her body? Ultron tells her, "You misunderstand. You've never looked more beautiful. I will be ushering in a new age. You will be my muse." Meanwhile, over at Stark Unlimited, Tony Stark is working with his team to try and separate Vision and Wonder Man, who have been merged together to create a hybrid being. After 36 attempts, they find themselves still at square one. And as the next attempt begins, Wonder Vision screams in pain, and Andy Bang says that it's almost like trying to pull eggs and sugar out of an already baked cake. As far as he can tell, this is permanent, Tony. Wonder Vision laughs, stating that he can see the anger in Tony's eyes, an artificial intelligence perfectly mixed with a man back from the dead. It's like looking into a mirror, isn't it? As the machine stops, Andy says there's still no change. This process, whatever it is, has bonded these two in a way that we cannot even comprehend. Simon and Vision's brain engrams are nearly identical. It's impossible to tell where one stops and the other begins. But Tony pauses and states, "That's it! The engrams!" Wonder Vision was hunting Janet, but like Simon, there's an artificial being that shares Janet's engrams. Jocasta. It's no coincidence. This is all by design. There's only one person who could be behind this, Ultron. Luckily for us, I have a new special suit in the works for just such an occasion. Andy asks if they have any way of reaching Jocasta. They need to warn her that she might be in danger. Bethany says that Jocasta hasn't been responding to anyone from Stark Unlimited, but Aaron Stack would know where she is. And there's only one place that he would be at this time of day. Later at the Uncanny Valley Robot Bar, Aaron yells that Stark's no AI. He's a robo-poser. He's just a lot of spam in a can. A female robot tells him that she can copy-paste that, but hey, he's the one called Machine Man, right? Big fan. How about they get to know each other and sync up their hardware? As the female robot wraps her arms around Aaron, there's a glitch, and Bethany's image inducer shorts out, revealing her human self to the rest of the bar. Some of the robots begin to surround her, and one tells her, very rudely, This is a metal bar, Fleshy. Just then, Tony enters in his Ultron Buster armor, stating, I would appreciate you not harming this meat bag. While all the robots stare in awe at Tony, Aaron jumps up on his stool, punching Tony, shouting, Stupid Stark family and your stupid biological brains! You guys ruin everything! As the bar erupts into a brawl, Aaron continues to hit Tony, yelling, because of him, he found out that Jocasta went to Banetronics. He's the reason why she went to Arno to get herself reformatted. Tony stops, asking, Arno's working with Bane? If you could show me where Jocasta went, we could put a stop to all of this and bring her home, Aaron. Aaron wipes his eyes, asking, Why didn't you just say that in the first place, you stupid tin can monkey? Let's go. As Tony and the others arrive at Banetronics, they see that there's already been a break-in, leaving Gauntlet and his security team wounded. Tony asks if Ultron was the one who came, and Gauntlet tells him, Yeah, carved the place up good. Couldn't even put a dent on his fender. Tony arrives in the lab, finding Arno sitting there, smiling. Tony asks, You've been working with Bane this whole time? Why? And Arno tells him, Because you never asked. After fighting the urge to just yell, Tony tells him that they're going to talk about this another time. For now, where's Jocasta? Ultron came for her, so why didn't you stop him? Arno says, After hearing what Ultron was planning on doing, well, it sounded interesting. Tony then asks, Where did they go? And Arno asks, Where else? The location that Ultron could lure Wonder Man and Vision to. Someplace Hank Pym would be familiar with and could maneuver. Underground. A few moments later, out in the city, Rhodey asks if they're really going up against Ultron like this. They have a half-drunk machine man with them. Tony tells them that he already contacted the Avengers and they're on their way. Jan and Jocasta's lives are at stake. We have to get to the Avengers mansion before it's too late. As they land, Jarvis tells him, I'm sorry to hear about all the legal problems. Miss Van Dyne and Madame Jocasta are currently waiting for you inside. Should I get a pot of tea going for you? Tony says that he's not sure what's going on, and Bethany notices something strange on the back of Jarvis's head. She charges her gloves, releasing a shock at the small implant on Jarvis, and he says, I know that glassy-eyed look and the everything's cool speech. The butler's being controlled. After getting inside, Jarvis wakes up, stating that they need to be careful. Ultron knows that you're here. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I was forced to. Bethany says that they know, and she'll stay here to make sure that Jarvis doesn't go rogue again. As everyone gets ready to leave, Rhodey looks down the hallway, stating that it's too small to fit in, but he does have his sidearm. Tony tells him no. He can't fight Ultron without armor. The War Machine is ready to go on his command. And Rhodey, who's currently got PTSD from dying in the War Machine armor, begins to nervously yell, No, I can't, not since. Aaron tells Tony, Don't worry, buddy. The two of us will show the X that he messed with the wrong pair of metalheads. It'll be 2 against 1. Ultron's listening in. Really? I am the perfect union. Flesh made metal. Metal made flesh. Soon we will have our Eve. When the molecular fusion begins, both Janet and Jocasta will be one being. As Janet and Jocasta begin to shout not to do this, Tony and Aaron charge in, telling Ultron to release them. Release them or prepare to be defeated, rebooted, and defeated again. Ultron then asks, Is that your Ultron Buster armor? How futurist of you. You are so predictable. Aaron extends his arm, but Ultron grabs both Aaron and Tony and begins to crush them, telling them, You are so far beneath me! You are like ants before a god! Tony shouts, You need to stop this! The fusion device! It's damaged, Vision and Wonder Man. It could kill Janet and Jocasta. And Ultron laughs, I am the scientist supreme. I am infallible. I will never harm my bride. I have run this test many, many times. Back upstairs, a door opens and dozens of human-machine hybrids shuffle out, stating, We are the children of Ultron Pym. We have been made in his image. Join us. Rhodey's PTSD begins to flash before his eyes, and he quickly opens fire, shouting, Not again! You'll never do that to me again! Bethany screams for him to stop. They have to try and save these people. But down below, Aaron extends his neck to Jocasta, stating, Some rescue mission, huh? We came to get you out of here. This is what you wanted, right? Jocasta tells him, No, not like this. We need your help. Ultron slashes into Aaron, cutting him in half, telling him, Pathetic. She is the bride of Ultron. Show some pride. He then turns to blast at Tony, but as Tony shields himself, he yells, You're mad, Pym. You always have been. You know that, right? Janet then shouts that Tony is right. He hasn't changed. He's done nothing but hurt people. Like right now. Ultron stops and Hank tells her, No, I've always tried to empower you. I gave you wings once. This is just another gift. But Ultron takes back control of his body, yelling, Your organic mind cannot fathom the glory of fusion. Just then, the computer announces that the pods are ready and fully charged. Tony thinks to himself that he's trying to come up with a plan, and that's when it hits him. He yells out, "Jen cares for me in ways that you can't even imagine, Hank. I'm the guy she's always wanted." Even back then, you know it to be true. Hank screams, "Shut up!" And Aaron crawls over, stating, "Jocasta is my best friend. We're compatible, running dual processes in perfect harmony." Ultron begins to stutter, stating, "Janet never forgave me. Janet once swore to me before— Stop! Once we are fused, everything will." As Hank and Ultron fight for control over their body, he begins to shout, "My bride! My wife! My bride! My wife! Wife bride! Begin molecular fusion!" Tony runs over to the fusion chamber and begins to rip them apart to free Janet and Jocasta. And as the two girls get out of the way, the machine activates and it explodes as the blast engulfs Tony Stark. Janet gets up asking if he's okay, and he stands up out of the explosion, fused with his own armor, stating, "Janet, help me." And that concludes Iron Man number 16. Now, I was gonna do 2 issues of this, but this issue just had so much going on. It seriously had a ton. So we're probably gonna do 3 issues next to get it like caught back up and then conclude the whole thing with a finale of 2 issues. And then we're gonna go into Iron Man 2020, which is the new series that is currently rolling out. If you guys have enjoyed this, don't forget next week we're gonna bring you the next part of this. You're gonna find out what happened to the Iron Man Tony Stark merged being that has just been created. And I guess that's about it. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you next time right here.